Hello and welcome to the Tea on Sustainable Living podcast, where your hosts,
Hannah
and Brandee, try and help each other navigate the big, messy gray area of giving a shit about the planet, and hopefully helping you along the way.
Each episode, we have honest chats about our sustainability fails, sometimes amongst ourselves and sometimes with guests, while also leaving you with a little sprinkle of hope and inspiration to keep on giving a shit.
So, go make yourself a cup of tea, get comfy, and let's dive into the episode. Hello, Give a Shitters. This is Brandee.
And this is Hannah.
And you are listening to episode number 8 of the Tea on Sustainable Living podcast. Why are you laughing at me?
I thought you were waiting. There was like a little pause. I was like, is she waiting for me to say this? This isn't how it works, Brandee. I was like, oh, the coffee still needs to kick in.
I think it's an internet thing too, because we're still recording over Zoom out of convenience and, well, laziness, to be honest.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, today we are talking about fair trade, what it means, and there's an event this is kind of based around in the UK, and spilling the tea, diving into the gray area, you know the drill. And I'm back to drinking tea. Last episode was a bit of a fluke. Have no fear. Tea is being had by me, not Hannah.
No, I'm still on coffee. I think I've literally only had tea when I've recorded at your house.
Yeah, that was like the first 2 episodes,
yeah.
2 or 3.
Whoops.
Anyway, so
what kind of tea?
Oh, well, the tea I'm drinking is not the tea that we're focusing on, but it's, I don't know how to say it. Rooibos?
Rooibos? I don't know.
It's Rooibos, I think, at least on the tin that's in my cupboard. I don't know much about it. I'll probably feature it in a future episode, but this is like coconut and like caramel, and it's delicious. But anyway, this episode, not really focusing on a tea, but more plant, and it'll make more sense because there's a company I want to talk about, and they are known for selling their green leaf to nearby tea factories in Kenya. So it kept saying green leaf and then selling it to tea factories. So that leads me to believe that it's not green tea, it's the plant. And I started looking this up. I'll leave links to what I was, but I was getting confused about what green leaf is and had a long unpronounceable name. And I think it can be made into multiple teas. Anyway, this company, Fin Tea Growers Cooperative Union Limited in Kenya, we'll just refer to them as Fin Tea, is a union of 5 tea cooperatives whose farmer members sell their green leaf to nearby Finley's tea factories. And I found this company on the Fairtrade.org .uk website that Hannah actually sent to me, because there is a this Fairtrade Fortnight, which yes is 2 weeks, but the actual thing is it's like an event where people come together. I'll read the excerpt from the website. For 2 weeks each year at the end of February and start of March. So by the time this is out, I think you only have 3 more days till March 6th. Thousands of individuals, companies, and groups across the UK come together to share the stories of the people who grow our food and drinks, mine our gold, and who grow the cotton in our clothes, and people who are often exploited and underpaid. So fair trade, in simple terms, is avoiding, the exploitation and underpayment of people behind our products. So I thought this was really interesting. I've heard of fair trade before, but I hadn't heard about this event.
Yeah, this is quite interesting to me, because for me, when I saw it come, I was looking for things that the show could link to, and I was like, oh, Fairtrade Fortnight, because actually it's genuinely a really big event in the UK. I remember at school we would do Fairtrade Fortnight. It was always a thing at I grew up going to church, so it was a thing at church, and just fair trade in general. I don't know, it's not really a brand, but as a movement. It's pretty big in the UK. Is it big in the States?
Yeah, so I was diving into that. So I think is it trademarked, fair trade, one word, I think is a third party type certification. I was getting confused on the organization Fair Trade. I found a website, fairtradeamerica.org, which both of these websites use the same logo. It looks like they're related. And I'll leave links in the show notes. So I was getting confused on the exact, is this a branch of how does this all work together? Yeah. That's besides the point. I think they're related somehow, and it's gives the seal of right. I'll probably put either a link or the actual logo like in the show notes so that you can have a visual of like this emblem, and you'll see that on products you buy, so that you know that it like has like this fair trade stamp of approval. Like it's been vetted, and it's known that you're supporting the people behind that product when you buy an item with that logo.
Yeah.
So I know, like I'm familiar, like I've seen it before. I'm familiar with it. And yeah, I think this event seems pretty cool to not just raise awareness, but to like, showcase products.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's definitely like a big thing. I mean, yeah, I would say in general, it definitely was in school, and it definitely was in like church. I don't know. And I feel like it's a thing in like the workplace, like the typical thing. It's like a fair trade. People might have like a fair trade stand and like, sell some of the fair trade products, or I mean, obviously like fair trade is for all year round, but I guess it's like a good way to highlight, what's going on. Would you say it's something you look for on products?
Would
you notice?
Yeah.
Okay.
I look for it more now, and for those who have not heard of it before, seen it before, noticed it before, kind of touch on what fair trade is, but why is it important? I mean, people in the whole like, sustainability movement, if you're starting to dive into that world, people often push for, or are more familiar with, like the material of my clothing versus, like in Primark, this organic cotton t-shirt's $10 or €10, whatever, but that's not the fair price of it. The fair price would be a lot more, to make sure that the person who not just sewed the shirt, but who worked and helped, what's the word I want? Harvest the cotton. All people involved are paid fairly. Like there's no way that $10, euros, whatever is a fair price. So I think, it's easy to go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, I mean, I'm pretty clear about why it matters, but why do you think it matters if we're just talking about mitigating the effects of climate change? If we're taking that approach towards, why does fair trade matter?
I'm trying to think how to word this. I don't know how to word it. People are important. And what does it matter if we still have a planet if we're causing harm to people? To put it in simple, blunt terms. I don't know how to say it more eloquently.
No, I agree. But I think it's an interesting one, right? Because it comes back to all those questions like, I mean, this is a terrible example, but like, if you want to keep eating meat purely for the environment, like sustainability, well, not sustainability, it's not sustainable, but for like climate change, it's better to not give animals a lot of space. Right? Like, I mean, that's a terrible argument, but you can kind of go down that route. I don't know. I feel like I'm not really sure where I want to go with this, but I guess just that. Yeah, people are important.
Bottom line, yes, people are important, and the ways in which people are affected by things that are contributing to climate change. So whether it is like a dairy farm or a slaughterhouse, and people who live nearby, and their water source is contaminated because of the nearby factory farms, they're just all intertwined. So making changes in the name of sustainability and mitigating the effects of climate change, like you have to consider the people, because as we've so eloquently put, people are important.
People are important. Yeah. Full stop. So it's an interesting, because I was thinking, is it something I look for? And I have to admit, I don't think I do keep an eye on whether things I'm buying. I'm not growing anything. I don't really keep an eye on if things I'm buying are fair trade. I'm not sure. I'd have to have a look. I'm not sure if it's here in Spain. There's probably an equivalent. Like I'll do some research and
I'm pretty sure in the show notes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen that same emblem logo. I think I have products on it. I mean, part of my kind of spilling the tea is I don't always buy those products over the alternatives, because yes, like generally speaking, like when you buy, something made of organic cotton or linen or whatever, unless it is at somewhere like Primark, it is more expensive. So to buy stuff like that, to buy those products for your daily, weekly groceries, it will increase your grocery budget, for example. So like coffee and chocolate are two big ones. The production of those goods are involved in a lot of not nice things for the people involved. So like this Fin tea, which I found on the Fairtrade website, was one of the featured companies under the tea section. It also have sections for, it was tea, coffee, chocolate. What else was it? I forget. They have it, broken down. Cocoa farmers, coffee farmers, cotton farmers, flour farmers, gold miners, sugar farmers, wine farmers, and then they have a section for other products. That's cool. Yeah, and they feature various farmers, and so you can get to know the people behind what you're buying, because there is such a disconnect between what you buy. You have no idea whether it's an item of food, an item of clothing. You're not involved in the process. As industrialized as we've become, we're not growing things ourselves and then eating that food. Some people are, but I think that disconnect can, unless you acknowledge it, you just don't know any better. And
and do you think this is like a good way of combating that in a way, because I guess it removes the need for you to do that research yourself?
Yes.
If you trust that particular organization by giving it this label, you can kind of trust that it's been produced, grown, etc., sustainably.
Yes.
Do you think that's a helpful thing?
Yes, absolutely. I think third-party certifications in general are excellent. They can be expensive and time consuming. So just because something doesn't have like a label to say, oh, we're fair trade organic or this or that, doesn't mean they're not. Maybe they just can't afford the product. But if a company's making claims, you want to see that they have the certification back it up, that it's not them being biased, saying, look how great we are. Someone else has come in with an objective view to give the certification. So I look at it, as like a stamp of approval. Great. See that, buy it. Whenever I'm looking for like a new product, whether it's food or clothing or whatever, I will go onto the Certified B Corp website, which is another third-party certification that looks at various aspects of, community, sustainability, and they have a range of score, but you have to meet like a certain, reach a certain number score to be considered or to use that their logo. But anyway, yes. So fair trade, I think if you see this logo, it to me seems very legit. They've done the research and I trust it. I think you still have to do a little bit of research on what the actual certification, this third party, whatever is, and what they do. And like the bunny logo that shows that an item is cruelty free, like in a lot of cosmetic products, home cleaning products, etc. Get to know the big players. Was it GOTS? GOTS is is that organic cotton? I forget. I'll leave links to some of the big players, but do a little bit of research, get familiar with what the logos represent. But I think this fair trade one is a great place to start if that is like the priority you have chosen to start spending your money in a more, just better way.
Yeah.
If you have the money to do so, because like we said, it is more expensive. So sometimes I buy the coffee and chocolate with the fair trade logo. And sometimes I just buy whatever's cheap at whatever grocery store I'm at. So I've mentioned before, that's the approach I've chosen to take and kind of spread my money in like both options instead of going all in on the expensive one or saying, no, I don't care. So sometimes, I vote with my dollar, euro. Sometimes I don't. For now, that's okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Give a Shitters. Brandee here. I just wanted to quickly interrupt this episode to tell you a little bit more about our show notes. Each episode has a dedicated show notes page on our website, thetonsustainableliving.com/show notes, where you can find more information about the topic of the episode. In addition to links to any articles and resources mentioned in the episode, we throw in a few more ways for you to keep on giving a shit. From articles and documentaries to books and apps, We want each show notes page to help you feel better equipped with information and tools to take action today. You can think of it as a choose your own give a shit adventure. We'll also update you on our chosen actionable item from the episode to let you know how it's going for us. So after this episode, head on over to our show notes page at thetonsustainableliving.com/show notes. All right, now back to the episode.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones as well where you could also choose like a certain product as a way to start. Like, for example, for coffee, I pretty much always, that is something that I always try and buy the more sustainable option, or like, the fair trade option. Also because it's pretty easy. I think a lot of people know that coffee has a background of exploitation, or at least I don't know if a lot of people know, but like, I feel like it's one of those ones that's pretty easy to find in a supermarket. Like your just regular supermarket, there'll normally be an option that's like a fair trade option or organic option. And, you can also buy coffee at your like local coffee shop that also might be a better option, although I guess there's no guarantee. Not sure. So that could also be a way, like choose one product where you're like, okay, this product I'm always going to, try and buy fair trade.
Yeah, I personally would like to be better at the coffee and chocolate. And I think, something hopeful is that I am seeing these products more in like regular grocery stores. And it can be hard when it's right next to the cheaper option. But sometimes when I do my grocery shopping at the all organic store, it's a lot easier. I mean, the price point is already higher, so there's less like sticker shock in comparison. But yes, I like what you said about going to your local coffee shop. Like if you choose coffee, when in doubt, if you either can't afford a fair trade option, your local shops, whether it's coffee, tea, whatever, are likely to have products that they've sourced from like an ethical, sustainable place. Producer. Yes. Thank you. And that is a good example. They might not be being like emblems or logos or, those stamps of approval. But I think, when in doubt, going local is a good route to go.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, I was going to say, do you know what the requirements are to be labeled as fair trade?
Oh, good question. No, there's a spot on the website. It says how easy buying fair trade is. You just look for that fair trade mark. Apparently there are over 6,000 fair trade products. Get involved? Don't know. It's a good question. But I know from what I know about third-party certifications in general, it can be a lengthy and expensive process. No, I'm not seeing an easy way to find out on their website.
I'm looking at the freaking list.
Oh, Fair Trade for Business programs. Why partner with? How? What's the how to partner with? I found an article on the fairtradeamerica.org website, how to get fair trade certified.
Okay, so I found the website, which is called Fairtrade Standards, which is about how they do it. And it looks like there's different ones depending on if it's small scale producers, hired labor organizations, etc. And then they also have a brand which is fair trade sourced ingredients. So it's when only one or two of the ingredients within the product are fair trade. So the whole product might not be classed as fair trade, but like it still has some fair trade ingredients. I can't say an easy list.
Okay, and this might be where it's a bit different between this Fair Trade Foundation, the UK website, and then Fair Trade America, because like I said before, they had over 6,000 products, but on the Fair Trade America website, it says they have over 35,000 products that have the Fair Trade mark. And that's two words, Fair Trade mark, each one's capitalized. So that sounds like it's a slightly separate thing. And it says that these products, this label shows that each product meets our rigorous environmental, economic, and social standards and was audited by FlowCert, an accredited third-party auditor. So they have someone else do the like auditing and certification, apparently.
Yeah, and this looks like, I think the Fairtrade standard, there's like a different website which is like more international. Yeah, and it looks Fairtrade International, and then it looks like different products have different
Does it still have that blue?
requirements.
Does it have the blue and green
Yeah,
circle with the person?
Yeah, it still has that.
And then with the little R at the top. Is that like the, not trademark, but what does that R mean again? It's not TM for trademark, but US, it is. The R means, US Patent and Trademark Office. So yeah, they're all related. Don't really understand how.
Okay, so basically it's a little bit complicated to find out maybe not complicated, but needing more than like 5 minutes of research to understand what all the standards are, which I'm going to take as a good thing, because it's probably a good thing that they, looking at this, like and just looking at the key issues, they look at child labor, climate change, decent livelihoods, so like price, environment, forced labor, gender equality, human rights, the Sustainable Development Goals, workers' rights, and something called HREGD. I have no idea what that is. Red.
Yeah, so I think that is a good sign when a company like this, who does, these logos, these stamps of approvals, the bunny or the fair trade, whatever it is, that they have high standards, so that when you see that mark on like a product, you can trust it.
Yeah. And yeah, there was definitely that thing, having the fair trade sourced ingredients, I think is a good one, because I do remember criticism about what kind of percentage of the ingredients need to be fair trade for a product to be called fair trade. And I feel like there's a similar debate within organic products as well, like how much need to be for you to like have that mark. So having like fair trade, like sourced ingredients, I think it was, is also interesting, because it's like acknowledging that not everything in the product has been given that label. Although, as you said before, Brandee, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not fair trade.
True. Yeah, I like that an item will break down, with like sourced ingredients instead of not saying anything.
Yeah.
Because as we, explore the gray area and get more comfortable in it, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. So I think it's great to, whether it's a product with sugar and, hey, look, our sugar is sourced, from a fair trade organization, but maybe other ingredients aren't, and maybe they're less important ingredients. But like if something has cocoa and sugar, and if you've decided those are important to you, then that would be good to know. Yeah, I have often seen that. Like if you look on the back of like a list of ingredients, and if you see like a bunch of different symbols, it's likely because they're trying to tell you which ones are organic or sustainably sourced.
Yeah.
So I think good places to start are to just do a little bit of research on these certifications and logos. Take a look at the products in your kitchen and see, okay, I have bought something with a fair trade stamp of approval. And then next time you go grocery shopping, maybe just start to look at prices and see if it's something you're willing to make a little bit more room for in your budget. Clothing too. That would, I think, require a bit more research, and buying from companies online. That tends to be, I've seen more like kind of fair trade and like organic, like the GOTS, like organic cotton, etc., in smaller companies and online. I don't know how much I've seen it in stores.
Yeah.
So if something's claiming like organic this, organic that, just take a look at the label and see if it has anything to back it up. Unless it's like a local boutique, that would be a great alternative.
Yeah.
And just
take a look at the Fairtrade website for the event in the UK, even if you're not based in the UK, because they do have a lot of good information and just kind of the stories, so you can connect a bit more with where the products are from.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let us know. Do you buy Fairtrade? Is it something you're interested in? What products do you notice are Fairtrade?
And what are you going to start with?
Yes. Hit us up on our Instagram. What's our Instagram, Brandee?
At the Tea on Sustainable Living.
Yeah. or you can message us on our website. Take a look at the show notes. We'll have all the links there. And did I hit all the promotional points, Brandee?
You did. Thank you very much, Hannah. I often forget that at the end. So yeah, the show notes will be the teaonsustainableliving.com/episode 8, the number 8. And that should take you there, and leave all the links. And yeah, I really like the Fairtrade websites. There's a lot of good information, even just to educate yourself on why it's important to buy Fairtrade coffee, for example, or tea or whatever it is. So yeah. Thank you all very much for listening. If you've made it to the end, we appreciate it very much, and catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Tea on Sustainable Living podcast.
If you made it to the end, we can only assume that you've enjoyed this episode.
Please consider sharing this with a friend or family member who could use some support on their sustainability journey.
And find us on Instagram at the Tea on Sustainable Living, and let us know what you liked about the episode.
All right, give it shitters. See you later. Get it? See you later, as in see you later. So funny.
Why?